What's going on, everyone? This video was actually supposed to come out the week of January 6th, but unfortunately myself and many other people had to evacuate because of the Eden fires that were very close to our home, to my home, so I wasn't able to edit and finish this in the timeline that I'd like. And that's Ash. So. Fuck.
You can spend at least the night at my house until you guys figure something out.
Aside from that, home now. We're safe. Home is as safe as it can be at the moment. But I think the video is still a lot of fun. It provides a lot of good insights. I just wanted to give this a little bit of a preface of why a video like this is delayed. And just wanted to be part of the conversation of what's possible for 2025. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in many more. All right, what's going on, everyone? Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my thoughts and predictions and potential trends that I'm seeing for social media marketing for 2025. I usually don't do any of these prediction videos, but it's also fun to speculate. So if it's your first time on the channel, I am Emeroy, the founder of Vision Paradox. We are a social media marketing company. We've been at the game for about 10 years. We've worked with a client from many different industries. So at the heart of everything we do, we use data and storytelling to create good content and ultimately good stories that resonate with your ideal audience. So the first thing that I want to talk about is obviously AI. I think if you haven't been keeping up with these updates, AI is just growing like crazy. So I think there's going to be a lot of aspects that I think AI is going to help us with in terms of just the marketing end. The speed in which you can create things is gonna increase dramatically. The images, the videos, the blog posts, the newsletters, all the different avenues that you have in terms of marketing you're gonna be able to get to create it faster. You're gonna be able to iterate faster, and all the different ideas, potential ideas, you'll be able to create it without having to go through a very expensive or long process of getting there. With how fast things are improving and growing, it's only a matter of time that you're gonna have a hard time being able to tell if things are AI generated or not. I think my favorite example right now is the AI video of Will Smith eating spaghetti. I think 2022 versus the end of, or 2023 versus the end of 2024. It's getting really good. And there are some other really, really good video generation tools that are out there. I think it's going to get to a point where, like, it exists now, where you're going to have an actual AI avatar or AI influencer. But a lot of the stuff right now that exists is essentially just AI B-roll or B-roll that's extracted from certain clips. And then with an AI voiceover. I think it's going to get to a point where you're going to be able to AI generate the ideal influencer for your target market. It can be a stay-at-home mom that works in the Midwest, busy entrepreneur in San Francisco. It can look exactly like that and use AI data from that you have to create the perfect messaging for that. AI influencers already exist. I'm not going to be surprised if AI influencers are created even more throughout the year. At the minute, it gets better, from creating dance videos, from creating UGC content, from creating skits that say however you want, whatever you want, in whatever setting, at very, very little cost. The way I'm seeing like AI influencers is essentially like the mascot for your company. Because the upside with having a mascot is that it never ages, and you can have it say, do, be whatever you want it to be. And it's also inexpensive. If you've ever had to do any sort of negotiating with influencers, it can get pricey, tricky, and sometimes ridiculous. And I think a lot of this stuff, I'd say, basic sense, we're kind of implementing that already. So we take a lot of the data from the backend on Facebook and our Instagram and all that stuff, and so we essentially use a tool called Claude. We use these tools essentially to have a conversation with the data. And instead of using the traditional dashboard of all these analytics, we take what it is, like of a certain portion, a segment, or even the entire year, and we upload it to these AI platforms. We have it visualized based off the questions and the KPIs that we have, and we adjust accordingly. We were doing a lot of experiments last year between different post iterations, between post frequencies, different messaging according to the avatars that we're trying to reach, and honestly, it really helped bring a lot of clarity from based off our experience. Again, those are just several examples from content creation, creating AI influencers, to using AI data that you have to essentially craft the perfect messaging or even the perfect influencer for your company. And I haven't even touched on using AI for AI chatbots or using AI for sales calls. But personally, for me, I haven't used any of the software that uses AI for calling, so I can't really speak on it. But I am imagining, as all the bugs that it has right now, it's only going to get better by the end of the year. And if for those of you who are trying to, again, who do cold calls and know what that process is like, you can eventually train that up to be just like you. So here's a couple things that you can do that I think you can start implementing now is get on things like Claude or ChatGPT or Jasper or Blackbox, whatever that exists. And these are these chatbots, and just get used to it. And if you don't know how to use it, the upside is you can ask these chatbots literally to say, well, how do I start working with you? Cool. At least it'll give you instructions on how to, interactive instructions on how to go about it. Once you get a little bit more familiar, use this conversation to help you create a social strategy based off who you're trying to work with. You'd be surprised at the different answers or the different approaches, and you can even get down to the nitty gritty of what type of content you could be making. And I almost feel like those types of answers of what type of content you're making, it's pretty obvious if you just study your industry of what kind of content you should be making. That's just one way. If you're a little bit more advanced, and if you are able to get on the back end of, say, Instagram or YouTube or even Hootsuite or Later or any of these other scheduling platforms, if you're able to get the data, and if you want to get a little bit more nitty gritty, you can download the data from there, upload it to, say, ChatGPT and Claude. Those are the two main ones I use, and have it review the data and actually have a conversation with it of what types of posts are bringing the most subscribers, what type of videos bringing the most AdSense revenue. What I like about it, since it is AI, it's very black and white. It is not trying to interpret anything. Like, there's no human bias. It is AI, and it'll just give it to you straight of like, this is what's working, these are the numbers, is posting this much, this time, working, and it'll give you guidance. So if you have an OpenAI account, play with video, play with creating AI video, play with creating AI voices. So just experiment. So the next thing is the continued rise of short form video, but I add a little caveat to that at the end. Short form content is still king. Most of us are likely, if we're in the bathroom or we're in line, we're likely doom scrolling on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram. Short form, we're just it's just a new form of just channel flipping. And the upside, and one of the reasons, just from my personal observation of why, or just my thought of why short form works very well, is because it's very non-committal. Long video requires commitment because it's long. You got to be willing to commit 50 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes. But with shorts, 5 seconds, you get a little bit of that dopamine rush, and then you're on to the next one. And just from my own experience and data and observations from my YouTube channel and Temper Tantrum's YouTube channel and some of the other clients' YouTube channels, like, those who watch shorts will primarily watch shorts because that's what the intent is. Those who are looking for long form content will look for other long form content. Short form videos generate twice the engagement of longer formats. And while shorts are great, just from my observation, they don't necessarily mean that they're going to convert into them watching the longer video or them going to your website, because it is, again, non-committal, very short intent of like, I want to entertain myself while I'm waiting for my thing at Starbucks. But those who, and I'll share this a little bit more in the longer form videos, those who watch long form videos have more intent to actually pay attention to what you have to say. Therefore, I think those will convert higher. But now going to some additional speculation is just the rise of short form, high-end content. Things such as Drama Box, and I forgot what some of these other platforms are, where it's Netflix level production, but in short form. So think of like TikTok skits, but Netflix production in the same length. Max and I, we did a podcast a couple years ago on our thoughts on Quibi when it shut down. We thought it was an app that no one wanted. Looking back on it now, it was an app ahead of its time because it knew that short form content was on the rise. It just wasn't released at the right time. So I think just with the thesis is there. A lot of people watch short form content. Why not watch short form content with a higher production, pay a monthly fee for it, and you get one hell of a compelling story. These stories are really good. It's not just like a random TikTok skit. It actually has a lot of depth. Implementation, I mean, I feel like a lot of you, this is something that's very easily YouTubeable, or you can just do a Google search on it, but just here's just my thoughts on it. Batch process the things that you're filming. And there's several ways you can go about it. Batch process of what you want to film. I'd say 5 different types of videos. And for clients who aren't in the entertainment realm, I would start off with just at baseline is what are the 5 most common questions that you get from patients, from, you can tell the industries that I worked with, patients, customers, like venues, like everything. What are the 5 most common questions that you get, and film those in one sitting. That way you can get everything in one go. To add to that, going into the into the long form, if you're able to, film the long form version first. That way, because sometimes some questions have nuance. And if you have the capability to, trim that to a 1-minute version. If you're unable to do the editing and trimming it down, I would film, say, one of these questions, the long form version, say the 5-10-minute version, and then I would film another version that's just 1 minute, 30 seconds, however long that you're able to compress it down to into the essential information. That way you'll be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone in a sense, getting the long form version and the short form version. I'm still very bullish on long form because, again, the intent of when people are watching, but also the short version. And if this sounds inconvenient, welcome to marketing, because especially if you're a solopreneur, or if you can't afford a social media marketer to come on your team, you're going to have to do these things yourself. But if you have the tools, if you have someone able to do it, I'd say the quote unquote simpler versions, film the long, trim it down to a short. If you're solo and don't have the editing capabilities, film the long, film the short separately, and film all these videos at one go. So I'd probably say block out 4 hours, because you'd be surprised how long filming videos take, especially if you overthink, if you make a mistake, or if you fumble over your words and you feel like you have to start all over, or how many times some people talk in circles. If you think you're going to be terrible at it, you might be, but that's why you watch playback and you do it again. You get your reps in. And then you'll find that filming the short version, if you have to film it in 1 minute, you become a better communicator, because then you're able to answer these questions in a minute rather than a whole 20-minute video that I'm doing like right now. So, additional things on top of that is you want to make sure you have a good hook, solid 5 to 10 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds, but also everything else is really good too. And then also use trending sounds, leverage trending sounds. All right, so just a couple examples of hooks are starting with a very strong visual, something eye-catching, or even a strong statement. One of my favorite examples for a simple hook is popular websites that you should know part arbitrary number. I personally love that stuff because there's a lot of really cool websites that exist, and that's an example right there. The next thing is the thumbnail. So YouTube, Instagram, all of them, you can upload a separate image. Make sure that you upload a solid image for that. And I think I'm getting a little too technical for a prediction trends video. There's plenty of videos on how you can create a solid short, but those are just quick ways that you can get started on creating short form content for your business. The next thing is the rise of social commerce, social e-commerce. It's huge in Asia. It's getting bigger here. So if you don't know what social commerce or social e-commerce is, it's essentially integrating purchasing items or purchasing products and having that integrated into these social platforms. I think it's doing really well on TikTok right now. YouTube has it if you watch these videos, and sometimes there's products at the bottom. So it's essentially being able to buy products without having to leave the platform. According to eMarketer, it projects that the U.S. retail social commerce will reach nearly 80 billion by 2025. This highlights the importance of leveraging these platforms for sales. I personally know someone that started off with TikTok doing dance trends, but eventually he led into doing TikTok Shop and doing TikTok Live, and he's doing a killing doing that. So much so that he's opening up his own studio dedicated to just doing TikTok Live for these products. So it's essentially the new version or this modern version of QVC, where you have an influencer or a host talk about a certain product, its features, its benefits, and then move on to the next thing, and then you get the sales. The hugest difference with this is not just dedicated to late night TV or cable TV. You can create a studio. This is what he's doing right now. A studio of maybe start off small, 3 to 4, maybe up to 20 people doing this simultaneously in the small room. It's already happening in Asia. It's huge. And I think one of the craziest things I've seen is that there's this one TikTok, or I don't even know if it's TikTok per se, but she just shows the product for like half a second and then moves on. And it still generates so much sales. This is something that I personally have not used, but I have witnessed how much power that it has. So one of the ways that I'm going to start integrating this, and maybe you guys can just start playing with this as well, is I'm going to use shoppable posts and stories on Instagram and TikTok. I have an online dance course that I don't push a lot, but I definitely want to experiment in terms of how much sales we'll get through that. And I also probably use this for some of the workshops that I teach. I don't have a direct product just yet, a physical product just yet, but this is something just for me to start experimenting with, and then maybe we're all learning together. Another thing that you can do is going live. So essentially go live on Instagram or on TikTok, host live shopping events. Obviously have everything on the back end on your TikTok shop or everything set up, proper links, affiliate links, whatever it is, but use host live so you can show the products dynamically, so you can actually hold the product, show what it is, talk a little bit more about it, and even answer questions about it. This is something that I'm likely going to do and integrate with Temper Tantrum later this year, because Temper Tantrum being a nonprofit, we do need to raise funds for some of the projects that we're doing. So we're probably going to be using this feature on either Instagram or TikTok to try to essentially raise funds. So the next thing is more authenticity, more community engagement. So I think platforms like Discord are going to be huge in terms of really building community engagement, or really having a tight-knit community. Some people use Reddit, some people use WhatsApp, some people use Signal. Whatever it is, whatever allows, I'd say, more close to direct access to you is what people are craving. So essentially more meaningful engagement. Several ways you can go about this. On the social media content posting side, something that you cannot do on AI is show some behind the scenes moment, something that's not exactly overly produced. Share behind the scenes moment that's not overly produced, something that's raw, something that's silly, that goes beyond your, I'd say, ideal version of yourself or your performance personality. I think one of my favorite examples of this is Jackie Chan showing bloopers of him doing mistakes from his craziest stunts, because it shows how hard it is and how dangerous it can be. Or even when celebrities show them behind the scenes of what it's like being on set, or them being an actual person versus the version that they are on screen. It can be the same thing for you. For example, one of the clients that we worked with, he's a dentist. We showed the behind the scenes of what it's like when he's treating their patients, and these are actual conversations with the patients from day one all the way to the end of the treatment. It's very authentic. It's very real in terms of the smile, the things don't just happen. Or one of the music entertainment companies that we worked with, we got to film with them for 4 days straight of what it takes to create a huge amount of songs for an upcoming season of sports and movies and trailers that are being released. These guys worked late into the night, producing the songs from scratch, writing the lyrics from scratch, and just showing that side, just showing that raw behind the scenes side instead of the final polished version. And the next way you can continue building authenticity and community engagement is responding to all comments. Gary Vee says this all the time. Respond to all the comments. And we agree, it's almost like someone complimenting you on your outfit or any of the sort, and you just stare at them blankly, and it just makes for an awkward interaction. So unless some people actually do that, which is kind of funny, but I know some people that do that. Or say at the end of the video, like for YouTube, a lot of YouTubers do a great job doing this. Is have people share their insights with you in the comments. Then it sparks a conversation. Another way to continue building community is going live. I know I said something about using that for social e-commerce, but you can also use that to start talking to people. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's the beauty of this era of communication, is nothing has to be overly polished. Humans are just naturally curious, and if it's intriguing enough, they'll want to interact. And if there's an opportunity, they'll want to talk. Most people probably just lurk, but if they have an opportunity, they'll talk to you. During the pandemic, I was doing a lot of live Q&As about social media marketing. I haven't been able to do that lately, but that's one way to go about it. An example is if you do music, you can host a live and create a song from scratch and have your audience engage with you with what type of music it can be, what type of instruments you should use. Let's go with the dentist example. You can have that as an opportunity to be a Q&A, or if it's available, if you're able to, because HIPAA's a thing, like have an honest conversation with a patient about treatment. We also know that there are certain rules and regulations that exist within each industry. One of the things that we're going to be doing this year, again, for Temper Tantrum, is going live. We're likely going to do a variety show, possibly, obviously dancing, since we're also a dance company. We haven't ironed out all the details yet, but it's definitely something we're going to be implementing this year. All right, so the next thing, just piggybacking off authenticity and creating community, is user-generated content. According to Backlinko, user-generated content is perceived to be more authentic, making it a valuable asset for brands aiming to build trust and engagement. As I'm using a camera to make this feel more produced and whatnot, don't underestimate the power of your phone, especially if you don't have this. A lot of people have the phones and have made huge brands just off their phone. Whether it's a solopreneur, a company, if you're resourceful, you can make it happen. So an example of this, coming from the dental client that we worked with, is once the treatment is done with a patient, we have them film and talk about their whole process, from why they went there, the problems they're facing, quality of life, their whole experience, and them just talking to their phone selfie mode. And then do another version with just this, with the camera. So there's a slightly different version of the story that's a little bit more produced. But anyways, I digress. In the former of them just filming themselves selfie mode, lo-fi, low cost, simple, and if you're comfortable with it, those testimonials, something like that, will help out a lot. Or another example, going back to the same dental client, is for any of the technicians or anyone that's worked there, they can share one of their favorite experiences working with a patient. That's just one, I'd say, very, very narrow example. There's a million ways to approach it. You can talk about what they love, why they love working there, or a typical day at such and such office. So another example is an artist that we worked with. Aside from showing the full version of the video, we worked with the dancers to create a series of videos dancing to the song that we can share after the song was released. Along with that, we shared a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that the dancers filmed themselves, that the husband of the artist filmed themselves. So a lot of which not overly produced, and I'd say simple to execute. So examples for you guys: if you're working in tech, you can share an update from someone in your team on what they're working on. Or you can work with an influencer or a past patient to create a testimonial or a simple step-by-step process of what it's like to work with their product. The last thing is the evolution of what short form content means. As much as because I still consider this long, because my definition, let's get on the same page of definitions. Short form content is anything between 15 to 60 seconds. Once it gets to 90 seconds, 3 minutes, I consider that more on the long form, because it starts asking for a little bit more commitment. TikTok, Instagram, And I believe YouTube now lets you post videos that are longer than 60 seconds. You can post up to 90 seconds to up to 3 minutes now, and I consider that a long form content video. With the upside of this is that you can create longer videos while still retaining engagement. Create videos that have a little bit more nuance and it doesn't make things so oversimplified. I'd say the downside is that I still think short form videos that get straight to the point are beneficial and then are gonna bring more people in. I do think that long form video means that people have more intent to listen, and that builds more trust and builds more relationship because now you're having more face time in a sense with this brand. So, and I think one of the reasons also with that is YouTube overall, I think, is still the video king over Netflix, over TikTok, over all of it. Simply because it's still Google. It has that search feature, and I also, in terms of a content creator standpoint, it has way better payout. Not as good as it used to be, but it still has way better payout for being a creator. When it comes to that, I think this is where I get a little bit more biased. So in the long form videos, longer engagement, more payout because you're keeping the person on the platform longer. You don't necessarily have to have 100,000 subscribers. If you hit the minimum of 1,000 subscribers and you're hitting 10,000, or if you're hitting a very high amount of views, you can still get paid really well without going viral, without having 1 million subs. You just have to have really, really solid content that people are willing to listen to from start to finish. When it comes to choosing, should you do short, should you do long? I think my favorite example of this, some people will swipe away at a 7-second video and some people will stick around for a 3-hour movie. It just has to be a good story. It has to be something that compels people to keep watching. And that means you have to emotionally hook them right off the bat. So in terms of creating longer form video, this is where it can get I'd say pretty standard in terms of types of content you can create. You can do Q&A, you can do testimonials, you can do product reviews, you can do video podcasts. Like the sky's the limit on the different types of storytelling that you can have. And you can go all the way to the point of like Mr. Beast level type of storytelling. I happily not do that. I don't think I have the balls to do that because my preference personally is almost like documentary style storytelling. There's something aesthetic that I enjoy about that. But anyone can, but that's the great thing about social media and the content creation. If you create something good, your audience will find it. And not just your audience finding it, it's you knowing who you're trying to reach. Sometimes sometimes it doesn't necessarily have to be a person. Like you don't have to think about, I don't know, Debbie who's 40 and it can be, I experienced this problem. Here's my thoughts on this. I recently watched this movie. Here's my thoughts on this. And that's leveraging, I'd say, pop culture. And there's likely an audience that can probably relate with you. There's a whole bunch of people who can talk all the live long day about movies, about Pokemon cards, about products, about tech, anything. If it's something that you care about or that you've experienced, it's likely that also exists for other people. As I said earlier in the video, take those long form videos, trim them down into short form videos that you can share on all these social media platforms. There's 2 ways in how you can create these shorts from these long form videos. One is a little bit more automated. First way is through Opus Clip. You just upload the video or upload the YouTube link. It finds the best videos that it thinks will go viral. You can download it for more nuanced editing, or you can upload it directly to your platforms. The other way that I sometimes like doing, because I am a masochist, is I upload these transcripts to Claude, and I have a specific prompt that finds essentially the same thing, the most viral moments that we can use, that's between 30 to 60 seconds. And the main reason I like doing that is because I like being able to just edit what I'm working on right then and there and potentially pull B-roll moments that we've filmed from our library. Yeah. The second way is a little bit more nuanced if you want more creative control. And using Opus Clip is great if you're looking for something to find a whole bunch of clips that might potentially work. A lot of the times 5 out of the 20 clips it pulls is what we find pretty decent. If you guys want to check out Opus Clip, you can use our affiliate link down below. I still love using it, especially for the long projects I can't commit to doing, especially for 2-hour podcasts. So I'd much rather have the AI edit it for me. It's a great tool. I suggest you guys checking it out. Not a paid sponsorship, but we do have an affiliate link. So if you guys want to check it out, check the link down below in the description. So that's it in terms of all the predictions, observations, potential trends that are coming to 2025. Let me know what you guys think. I think the biggest thing, just to close all this, is we're going to be able to be individual production houses. We're going to be able to work a lot faster. A lot of people are already content creators. We're going to be like I almost feel like everyone eventually is going to be AAA individual content creators with how fast AI is moving, with how we're going to be able to push VFX, with how we're going to be able to push video generation. And I also acknowledge that there's going to be a lot of pushback on that, because me coming from the movie and video game industry, there is a lot of worry about that in terms of the artists. And just I guess another side prediction, or like honorable mention, is I think AI is going to get more regulated as it gets more advanced. I think a lot of these places are going to allow people to opt out of AI training, but I think it's already too late. They've gobbled up so much data already that it's almost a joke to opt out. In terms of innovation, in terms of the competitiveness of this in a global scale, I think it's still going to be kind of loose in order to stay ahead in innovation. But I think the cost of that might be the artists. But I do think there will eventually be some sort of protection against AI, for example, such as deepfakes, for whether it's for video or voice cloning. I think in regards to art, I think with the recent strike of protecting actors from not being duplicated or cloned, I think that's a great move. But yeah, anyways, I digress. AI AI is a very touchy topic for a lot of us. And me being a performing artist, I'm aware that AI video and AI influencers is going to be a thing, and I'm going to be meeting with my team later this month in how we can safeguard ourselves or prepare ourselves for what may come, and how we can use it as a tool, how it can also be used against us. I think ultimately, when it comes to this, it's going to come down to the community that we build around our brand. And it's through a lot of the stuff that I shared in these videos. Be authentic, engage with the community, but also leverage some of the aspects of AI that can simplify and allow you to move faster in your business. Ultimately, it comes down to the fact that there will be changes. It's up to us to adapt, because if we're really trying to push our brand or product or whatever it is, we have to accept that change is inevitable, and we have to adapt as needed. And we can't just use strategies that worked a year ago or 2 years ago, because things are moving way too fast. So the more we can adapt and adopt and execute, I think will help us stay ahead of the curve, stay relevant, and stay in business. If there's anything that you guys have observed, any predictions, trends that you think are coming for 2025, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think, and thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.